Hello everyone! Vol'jin has been part of the Horde for a very long time, and at the end of Mr. Pandaria, he was granted the title of Warchief, the first non-orc in history. But what road led him to this destiny, and what might the future hold for this Shadow Hunter? That's what we're going to talk about today, so let's begin, shall we? We don't know much about Vol'jin's youth. He grew up as one of the Darkspear Trolls within the Darkspear Tribe upon the Darkspear Islands. His best friend was Zelazane, and together they would go fishing, wrestling, building mud forts, claim their first kill together. Zelazane was the one who Vol'jin trusted with his fears and triumphs. The time that he cried over the dead pet when he was a small child, or the day that he'd beaten an older bully senseless, Zelazane had been there for all of it. His father Sen'jin was a powerful witch doctor and the spiritual leader of their people. One day, Sen'jin looked into the flames and he received a vision. Change was coming to the Darkspear Tribe and Vol'jin had to get ready. For this, his father told him to travel to the part of the island called First Home. This was the place where nobody went besides shadow hunters and fools, and Vol'jin, at this time, was no shadow hunter. He convinced his best friend Zelazane to join him on his quest, and together they faced the challenges given to them by the Loa, ancient spirits of those who had transcended death and could grant wondrous boons or inflict terrible punishments. During their time within First Home, Vol'jin received visions of the future. He saw himself team up with Orc and Tauren, clasp hands with Warchief Thrall, and join the Horde. He saw himself fighting with his best friend Zelazane, who believed that Vol'jin was not the right troll to lead their people. He saw Garrosh fight Cairn in the arena and take the Horde down a dishonorable path, one that the Darkspear could not follow. All these visions and more were granted to the troll, yet they did not come easy. The Loa tested him with many trials. One of them caused Vol'jin to endure great pain, worse than the pain of a broken bone or stab wounds. Thicker and deeper than any pain Vol'jin had ever felt, it flooded his mind, making thoughts impossible. In that pain, the Loa whispered to him about the cliff nearby. The rocks down below would bring an end to the pain. It would be quick and easy, and Vol'jin realized that it was true. He could jump and end the pain instantly, or the other option was to endure the pain. So Vol'jin closed his eyes and he endured, earning the skill to see the Loa. The second trial showed Vol'jin two roads in front of him. One road led to him living the easy life, healthy and happy, with the finest jungle brew all around him and troll females dancing for his pleasure. A small golden chain stretched from one ankle to the leg of the throne. Now the other road, it led to him wounded and bleeding, surrounded by enemies and constantly fighting, always struggling. Sometimes he led the other Darkspear trolls, sometimes he fought alone, and Vol'jin laughed at the test as if the choice was difficult. He would always choose freedom. He would fight, he would strive, and perhaps never find happiness, but in the end, he would have his freedom. The Loa answered him and told him that the choice itself was not the test, but if he had hesitated even for a moment, he would have failed. Passing this test earned him the ability to hear the Loa, hear them, yet learning how to listen, that would come with time and experience. The final trial had Vol'jin fighting with something that looked like his father. He was confused, he didn't understand why his father was striking out at him, and in their battle Vol'jin's hand was shattered as the spirit simply ran away. The hand would heal in time, but the thumb would always be misshapen. He would never again throw a knife with that hand, hold a glaive, hunt or signal the attack, but there was a way to fix it. All trolls were blessed by the Loa with some form of regeneration. They could regrow fingers and toes, they could even regrow more complex parts like limbs and organs. It would take some time, but Vol'jin would be whole again after chopping off his own thumb. After doing so, another Loa appeared to Vol'jin, one that seemed younger than the others and somehow familiar. The vision of Vol'jin fighting Zelazane played out before them, and the Loa asked Vol'jin why he was fighting one of their own, his childhood friend no less. Vol'jin looked down at his stump, and it said it all. He would kill anyone who's a threat to the future of the Darkspears. It doesn't matter who it was, the tribe is everything, its future is everything, and the Loa agreed. Vol'jin did not cut off the thumb to save his life, he did it to save his future. The Darkspears must be fierce, true and endure. It will never be easy, but it's the only way. For passing the final trial, Vol'jin was granted the ability to communicate with the Loa. They would not always do what he would ask of them, but they would give him a fair hearing. He was now a shadow hunter, a master of voodoo magic with the Loa at his side. As they emerged from First Home, Zelazane knew that he would become a great witch doctor, and who knew, perhaps these visions were only possibilities. Perhaps the visions that the Loa granted them were not set in stone, they were not pieces on a board, and perhaps they did not have to fight each other. As they left First Home behind, the visions granted to them faded away. Only impressions and a few words remained. Endure, true and fierce. To Vol'jin and Zelazane, it felt like they were in there for a week, while in truth it was actually for 3 months, and in that time the visions of Sen'jin had come true. Warchief Thrall had taken his people west to the ancient lands of Kalimdor, and on their journey a sudden fierce storm forced them to seek shelter in the cove of a nearby remote island. It was there that they met with Sen'jin.
Warchief, I sense strange magic all around us.
There's the source of your magic. Someone is watching us.
It is you. I saw your arrival in a vision, especially you, the seer. Or is it just my old mind playing tricks on me?
Looks like this troll's been on the island a little too long. We're real enough, old one. My name is Thrall.
I be Sen'jin, leader of the trolls. This island used to be ours alone, but no more. You and your friends must be careful. The humans established an outpost on this island some time ago.
Humans?
Yes, they hound us day and night. Their patrols be all over the place. Not be long till they find you too.
Well, I'd rather find them first. We can't risk their patrols alerting the outpost about us. Loktar, my brothers. We're moving out.
Good luck, my friend. I got important matters to tend to, but I be seeing you soon.
While Thrall and the orcs teamed up with the trolls to take care of the humans, another threat appeared.
For the horde! Watch your backs! This battle's not over yet.
The fish creatures have come to take us away.
Your meddling magics will no longer interfere with our plans,
I wonder what these strange fish creatures want with us.
The Murlocs used to be peaceful, but lately they've been catching us and using us for sacrifices.
Sacrifices? To what?
A long time ago, they started worshipping some witch. They say she lives under the ocean, and if they don't make the sacrifices, she'll destroy this island.
Well, someone should have told them that orcs don't scare that easily. Now, let's get out of here.
Warchief, Sen'jin was just taken away by the fish creatures. I tried to stop them, but there were too many. They said he is to be sacrificed to their witch.
Then we have no time to lose. Sen'jin must be freed.
Warchief, I sense a protective shield around the sorcerer. I believe these 3 fish creatures are helping maintain it. Pathetic fools. They will not stop us from receiving what has been promised.
Sen'jin!
Don't despair. You'll soon be joining him.
The vision told me you would lead my people off this island. You don't have much time, young one. Go.
But you and your people are coming with us.
It be too late. I'm already gone.
Those of you who wish to follow me will face many dangers. It will not be easy. But if you wish to join us, you are welcome.
Yeah, man. Pretty soon there'll be nothing left here anyway. We come with you.
They're captured by Murlocs, and even though Thrall does his very best to save him, Sen'jin is sacrificed to the sea witch that the Murlocs worship. It was around this time that Vol'jin and Zelazane reappeared after being gone for months. The news of his father's death did not come as a complete surprise, and Vol'jin took charge of the evacuation as well as his people. In honor of Sen'jin, Thrall offered the trolls a spot in his new horde, which they accepted, and while a big portion of the trolls followed Thrall on his journey, Vol'jin and some of the tribe, they weathered the sea witch's anger, gathered all the supplies that they could, and they took it with them to join their brethren around a year later in the new orc nation of Durotar. In that time, Thrall fulfilled his destiny, teamed up with several other factions, amongst them Jaina and the humans, and all of them took on the mighty Archimand and the Burning Legion. After the destruction of the World Tree, after saving the world, Jaina and Thrall decided to do their best to keep some sort of peace going. For that purpose, Jaina built up Theramore, while Thrall and his people, they worked on building Orgrimmar. Vol'jin and his Darkspear trolls, they made a home on the Echo Isles, but not everyone was ready to leave the past behind and work towards peace. During a campaign in Warcraft 3, we find out that Admiral Dalen Proudmoore, Jaina's father, he showed up to look for his daughter, while also striking out at the trolls on the Echo Isles. Rexxar, together with Chen Stormstout and the troll Rokan, they're sent by Thrall to warn Vol'jin and help evacuate his people off the Isles to the mainland, where it would be much easier for the Horde to protect them.
I be Vol'jin, leader of the Darkspear Tribe. It be good that the Warchief send you when he did, man. Our village is already be under attack by the human fleet. We got no time to waste. Even now, the humans' battleships be blasting away at our coastal villages.
You have little chance of defeating such a force on your own, Vol'jin. You should evacuate your tribe to the mainland and unite with the Warchief's forces.
Though I hate to be abandoning our homes, your plan be a wise one. However, we got to destroy those battleships before the evacuation can begin. Oh, these wily ones will serve you well, man. Their talent for destruction be mighty.
We have no flying mounts, Vol'jin. We'll be useless on land.
Oh, won't be a problem, man. Now, this be feeling a bit strange.
After destroying some ships and lighting some fires, Rexxar fulfills his mission and the trolls are saved, but the mission isn't over quite yet. Thrall wants answers. He wants to know why Jaina would strike out like that, but they soon found out that it wasn't Jaina, but her father that was doing this. She could not stand behind her father's choices of holding on to old hatreds, so she did nothing as the Rexxar and the Horde, they assaulted Theramore and they took her father's life. With that, the peace between Theramore and Orgrimmar endured, yet the troubles for the Darkspear Tribe were not over yet. Zelazane, Vol'jin's longtime friend, he'd gone mad with power and he betrayed their tribe. With the use of dark voodoo, he robbed most of the Darkspear trolls of their free will, forcing them to obey him. Vol'jin feared that all of his people would fall to Zelazane's sorcery, so he ordered the tribe to abandon the Echo Isles and move to the fishing village called Sen'jin on the coast of Durotar. During classic World of Warcraft, adventurers were often sent out to strike at Zelazane and his forces to win back the trolls' first home on Kalimdor, but Zelazane, he was not so easily defeated. He had powerful magic under his command, and even if adventurers were able to chop off his head and bring it back to the quest giver, after a few days the magic would wear off, revealing it to be nothing more than painted rocks, bunches of coconuts, or the head of an enslaved Darkspear troll. The true enemy was still out there, the true Zelazane, and he was doing his very best to lure more of the Darkspear Tribe to enslave them into his army, and he wouldn't be truly taken care of until a few years later. Up to that moment, Vol'jin didn't do a lot for the storyline. He was present within Thrall's fortress in Orgrimmar to offer advice to the Warchief. He showed up during Brewfest to tap the keg, and he sent members of the Horde on a mission which would aid them in their assault upon Zul'Gurub and Hakar. He was also present during the battle for Undercity during Wrath of the Lich King, but he didn't actually fight in the city. Instead, they kept him outside to point members of the Horde toward Thrall and Sylvanas, and they were actually doing the fighting in the city. The Shadow Hunter and leader of the Darkspear Tribe, he didn't see a lot of time in the spotlight, but that would soon all change as the time had come for the Darkspear Tribe to reclaim the Echo Isles and take the battle to Vol'jin's old friend Zelazane.
Zalazane's time has come. The Dark Spear will have a proper home again. Be ready. You came, wise sister. The Dark Spear be grateful.
Hello, ma. Of course. Son of Sen'jin. Zentabra always keep her word.
Vol'jin gained the aid of powerful trolls like Zentabra. She was ashamed of not being able to stop Zelazane, and she ignored Vol'jin's call when he told them to retreat from the Isles. She received a vision from the ancient raptor Loa called Gonk, who showed her that Zelazane, he had his mindless slaves kill the beast on the Isles, and Gonk wanted her to help them. After being transported to the Emerald Dream, Zentabra and some of the other witch doctors with her, they trained in the ways of the druids, and now with Vol'jin showing up again, the time had come to put their skills to use.
The time has come. Warriors of the Darkspear, make ready. Then Loa, walk with us. Are you ready, Vanira, Zentabra?
The elements. They be walking with us too.
As do the beast of these isles.
Then we go. First to Bwansamdi. If we're gonna win this, we need his mojo on our side.
Who be stirring up me bones? Tim's won Sunday's charges, and not to be touched.
I be Vol'jin, son of Senjin. Here to ask your aid, O great Bwansamdi.
I know who you are, Shadowhunter. And I know what you want. But what makes you think I'm gonna help you? Ain't a wise thing calling me from the other side.
I ain't asking for me alone, Great Spirit, but on behalf of the Darkspear Tribe, on behalf of me people.
Darkspear. It's been long time since I heard the drums. Since I drank the ritual offerings. I be watching over your death. And for nothing. Why have the Darkspear forsaken Bwansamdi? Huh?
We were driven away, Great Spirit. Hexmaster Zelazane took the Isles from us, drove us mad, made us fight one another. The only trolls left in the Echo Isles are his mindless voodoo slaves.
Zelazane.
Aid us, Bwansamdi. Help us regain our home. Return the Darkspear to the Isles and hear your drums again. Drink your ritual offerings once more. This as son of Senjin, I swear.
Time to see how bad you want this, Shadowhunter. Time to see if you be worthy.
After passing Bwansamdi's trial, Vol'jin and his troops gained his support, and it's a good thing too, since Zelazane was no pushover. He lured Vol'jin into a trap, turned his fellow trolls against him, and he even raised a shield which no living being could pass. It's a good thing that Bwansamdi is no living being though.
No matter. I can't be touched. No living thing can make its way through this barrier. The Echo Isles be Zalazane's to rule, Shadowhunter, now and forever! Who that be?
Zalazane! What you thinking taking that which be mine? The Darkspear dead are my domain, sorcerer. And now, you're gonna be one of them.
No, no, no!
A fitting end for so foul a troll. Bwansamdi, you have my thanks, and that of all the Darkspear. We will continue to honor you as is proper.
It'll be good to hear the Darkspear drums once more. You take care now, son of Sinjin. One someday, we'll be waiting for ya on the other side.
Time to return to the village. Time to rebuild our home. The Darkspear's home. Will you be staying with us, wise Zentabra?
My fate be entwined with yours now, Vol'jin. For good or for ill. I be staying.
Once Samdi himself struck down Zelazane, and the Echo Isles after around 6 years belonged to the Darkspear Trolls once again. Several of the visions shown by the Loa during his trials to become a Shadow Hunter, they've come true, and sadly, the one that showed Cairn fighting Garrosh would soon become a reality. However, that's a story I'll save for next week, since we still have a lot of events to talk about and have been going on for long enough. For now, thank you very much for watching everyone, subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time guys, see ya!